What is up, guys? In this video today, I'm going to describe the Christian mental health dilemma in under 5 minutes. I have my notes here. Let's get right into it. Okay, so the first is a stigma, where there is a lack of faith, or that you should just pray more for these mental illnesses that people may experience, and that brings shame and condemnation. All right, sometimes God wants us to seek things out through the natural way, right? Like he wants us to get a job to make money. We shouldn't just lay in our bed and say, God, provide these Air Jordans for me, right? Sometimes seeking therapy is okay and normal and encouraged, and we should allow that in the church. We should encourage people to seek these. We're already at 1 minute. Oh my gosh. Okay, so faith doesn't mean you have to be emotionless. In the Psalms, David was full of depression and anxiety. Example, Psalm 22. Look it up. We don't have time to get into it right now. He says, God, why have you forsaken me? Because we can kind of get into it. But David was a very, very emotional person. Even Jesus wept. So don't be cold, don't be emotionless, don't fall for the stigma of this generation about what masculinity is, about how you need to treat women poorly and be super stoic and have no emotion. No, emotion is normal and it's okay to have them. We just need to learn how to regulate them and how to have healthy coping mechanisms, which can be taught in therapy. Back onto this. Sometimes these mental illnesses, these things we struggle with, they can lead us into isolation. And what that does is it gives the enemy a tool. It gives the enemy a tool to work against you, to pull you away and attack you. In the natural, what these predators do is they find something that they can isolate. They find an animal. It's usually one of the younger ones because they're easy to tell apart, right? So the lions, the predators, go after that one because they can isolate it. They can all focus on it, right? So don't let yourself get isolated. Don't hide your mental struggles. In Galatians 6:2, it says, bear one another's burdens. The church should be loving each other. The church should be building up one another. The church should be encouraging one another. Okay, let's keep going. Now, a really important thing is people think that, going to therapy is a lack of faith. But in fact, I think it's the opposite. You can pray and go to therapy, which allows you to work in the spiritual and also the physical, right? It's like praying, Lord, help me do well at my job, right? That's not a bad thing. You're in the physical and you're asking God to help you, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going to therapy. There's nothing wrong with having mental illnesses, right? If I was sick with the flu, I wouldn't think, I don't need the flu vaccine, I need God to heal me, right? That seems kind of silly when I say that. But then whenever I say, no, I have anxiety and I shouldn't seek healing from that, I need God to heal me. It's like, well, I mean, he casts out all fear, right? But also it's a medical thing. So we think it's good for one thing but not another. It just doesn't make sense. And the prayer and therapy, it's a stewardship of the mind. You're taking care of what God has given you, right? You don't think the gym is evil. You don't think, God, give me muscles, right? I mean, obviously you can pray that, but if you're not eating right, if you're not going to the gym, if you're not doing these things, you're not going to build muscle. So it's the same thing with therapy and that growth, right? This mental health crisis that we're in, I don't think we're stewarding it well. And that pulls me into the last and final point. We're almost out of time. What should the church do? The church should normalize conversations about anxiety, depression, and trauma. It shouldn't feel like something so far off that we're ashamed about, that we can't talk about. That doesn't make any sense. We need to be accepting and inclusive as Christians. We need to love, right? And then whenever somebody gets in, and starts following Jesus, we can be like, well, you need to be careful about these things, look out for these things, do this, and don't overwhelm them, but do it in a loving, compassionate way. We need to encourage support groups, counseling, and safe spaces where we can be honest about our struggles and not have to worry about being judged. And lastly, I'm going to finish up here real quick, is we need to allow healing through the spirit, soul, and mind. If we say no to things, that God can't move there. So start being open and accepting. We're out of time. Thank you so much. God bless.